After Donald Trump's Saturday rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where he survived what is an assassination attempt, I think a lot of us, a lot of Americans, really were asking, how did we get here? We have all been talking about the feeling that both sides of America are at war with each other. But when you get to the point of assassination attempts, that it really drives the point home. And what I thought of immediately was the speech that Joe Biden gave last summer at the Independence Hall speech in Philadelphia, because that speech at the time really shocked me. And I went back and looked at the language, and it's kind of worse than I remembered. I think a lot of people remembered the weird lighting and the sort of Darth Vader vibes of that speech with the red and black lighting. But if you really listen to what Joe Biden said at the time, he wasn't just attacking a political rival. That's kind of normal, right? Slinging mud at political rivals. But he was really casting aspersions on fellow Americans, in particular, what he kept calling MAGA Republicans. But those Republicans, all Democrats, people of any party, are represented by one president. And once you become the president, you have to take a pause from the partisan mudslinging, and you have to be able to say, I represent everybody. And I went back and looked at that language, and what I saw really bugged me. The first quote from Joe Biden was, Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of the republic. He said the Republican Party today is dominated and driven by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans, and this is a threat to the country, his words. And he talked about MAGA Republicans a lot. He said, MAGA Republicans do not represent the Constitution, do not believe in the rule of law. No, that's certainly an allegation that, candidates can make on the trail, but he's the sitting president. But then he also said MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards. And it really bugs me to hear the president of the United States using that kind of militaristic language to describe citizens. Like I said, it's one thing to talk about your fellow, your opposing candidates, your political rivals, with the extreme language of campaigns. But you're the sitting president. You're talking about Americans who didn't vote for you. That's it. Someone who wears a Make America Great Again hat is just somebody whose vote you didn't earn. So I think we really need to tone it down. And both sides can be guilty of this, to be sure. But we have a Democrat in the White House right now. He leads our nation, or who's ever helping him, leads our nation at the moment. And we have every right to expect better. As someone who was a registered Democrat for over 30 years and who voted for Joe Biden, I certainly expect better from the president. And that kind of language is what's going to drive me to not vote Democrat for the first time ever, because I don't think it's an acceptable way to talk about American citizens.